Tashi Powers, Evolutionary Astrologer.
Radiant and sweet you are.
Really beautiful.
Okay?
Yeah.
So beautiful.
So we want to talk a little bit about winter solstice, about geomancy, about what else were we talking about?
Multiverse.
Oh, yeah, the
The
multiverse.
5D multiverse.
Yeah, yeah.
This is, so I finished writing my book on Vastu. Yay. I'm coming back up the rabbit hole. And I'm getting downloads. So the age of Aquarius and Uranus and Shiva and Vishnu are all about getting the downloads. Okay, that's how you really learn, right? In meditation, you get these downloads. And so I was looking at the Sri Yantra, and I realized that all the points in the Sri Yantra, do you guys know the Sri Yantra is God as mother? The yantra is a depiction of the universal energy. It's the Vedic one. And so the triangles go up, and then they come down within each other. And so up is the masculine and down is the feminine in the Sri Yantra. And I've known about that for a couple of decades, but it didn't ever occur to me that all those points were like northeast, west, south, and then east, southeast, east, south, 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 southeast, all the little different points. When you look around it, if you go look at a Sri Yantra, you're going to see what I'm talking about. And today, when you were speaking about this yidam, I don't know what else to call that. Yidam, what is it? It's a yidam in Tibetan. Yidam Tama.
It's a Kala chakra.
Kala chakra. Okay, so that's
but then it's the stupa.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the top could be the south, the bottom would be the north. On your left, you'd have east, and on the right, you'd have west. Or it depends if you're looking at the sky or the earth, okay? And those are the 4 cardinal points. So we're coming to the winter solstice, and I'm sure most of you know that the sun is down in Australia, hitting the Tropic of Capricorn on the day where the sun is the furthest due south. So that's what that southern angle is in the Kala Chakra, okay? And then the northern is summer solstice. The 2 east-west points are when the sun goes over the equator. So our ancestors for tens of thousands of years have understood that these points affect us. And what astrologers know is that the multiverse universe lays down a grid, and that grid is like you're wearing a skirt, okay? And it affects you. So right now, the winter solstice it's close enough that the planets are already, it's something weird. They wiggle back and forth, so it's already operating, okay? Astrology is very weird, very magical, right?
Yeah.
So there's this backwards movement, so you can already feel it. There's a Moon-Mars conjunction for the next 3 months. And so I've already cured Moon and Mars. I got a Durga, I got a Shiva, I put it in the northeast, and everybody's being nice to me because the Moon and Mars is either arguing with everybody or everybody liking you and loving yourself, right? And it's in Scorpio. So, experience here.
Yeah. I like Mars in Scorpio.
Yeah.
I have Mars in the 8th house.
Yes. So, if you know what this chart looks like, and you can call it up, it's an ingress chart of the sun into Capricorn, you will know where the placements are. And so you can work with this grid, this east, north, south, west, and then here's some stuff in the east, northeast. Okay, so this is where the moon and the Mars are. And if you can put a gem, an intention, a tanka is excellent, on that line, then you are vibrating with the cosmos. This is what's so exciting to me because Yogi Bhajan was an astrologer.
Yeah.
Madame here is a fabulous astrologer. And like we speak astrology, it's like I'm talking to myself. I'm so happy you speak astrology. It's like
it is a relief when you have that. It's true.
So
it's
nice.
True. Are you when you talk about curing? You're talking about curing your natal moon and Mars, or this?
This
moon
is a
and Mars?
collective skirt.
This is the,
so your personal chart is like the main grid that you're wearing, and all the directions all around you. Think of yourself as a 5D person now, living in at least an 11-dimensional world. Okay, and your personal chart is a grid. So if I'm facing this way, there's a reason I'm facing this way. Okay, I'm aligning with something planetarily this way. I can look it up and tell you what it is, but I used to do that when I was learning it, and it was really interesting, and now I'd just rather do it, which is what happens. However, as you're learning your chart, you should know where your skirt is, what's blowing up around you. Think of yourself as Marilyn Monroe, and that your Mars is over here, Rama's Venus is over there. Okay, I know that, because I'm always curing it so that everybody's happy here and everybody's sharing, caring, and everybody's buying things from each other at Rama.
Falling in love
here. This is a happy place, all right? And we cure other things too. Like sometimes if there's crazy people, we put up something for Saturn, block them. So if you learn your own personal grid, this Kali chakra of yours, that's your chart. You have one of these. You came with it. Then you can learn the winter solstice grid. You can learn your solar return grid. You can learn what the transits are doing, which is kind of this fixed one. But then this moves, and if you really want to get crazy, you can follow it like I do. Honestly, it's a lot, okay? And I've been doing astrology for 40 years. It's not that much for me, but it's not easy, okay? You have to be really multidimensionally able to... There's a lot, okay? The universe is lovely. The cosmos is fabulously big, And... Trungpa Rinpoche said, enlightenment is glimpses of chaos, of order in the chaos. We share him, and I just was thinking of that recently. So glimpses of the order and I like what the Mayans call it, the beauteous chaos, the chaotic beauty, okay? And so this is the order that's in all of the cosmos. And if you can look at the Sri Yantra, God is Mother, and you can start to see those triangles, you can realize that you are experiencing directions coming at you from the cosmos. And so things that come at you, I discovered this because I was looking at somebody's midpoint, okay? And then I was, oh my God, this is the Sri Yantra. I had it in front of me and I went, oh, that's the midpoint. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
I'm sorry, it's so deep. The midpoint is the place between two planets, and the exact midpoint resonates, okay? It has a resonant frequency, and somebody was having a strong transit to a midpoint, and I was like, oh my God, this is the Sri Yantra. So anyway, it blew my mind. I don't think it's blowing your mind, but it blew my mind, okay, that the Sri Yantra, and that the Kali is Vajrayogini, because I was also looking at her thinking she's creation, she's destruction.
Well, let me just put it in another term of the Sri Yantra. So they did all those kind of let's see, this is not a sonoluminescence, but it's another one of these terms of how to use sound. And what they found is when they make the sound of om, but it's ong, that on a disc of that vibrates and there's sand on it. You guys have seen this, right? That it turns into the Sri Yantra. Like just the sound forms into what are those? It's called something. Cymatics, exactly. So these things are organizing themselves in these mandala shapes. And then what Tashi's like mind is blown is because then you're looking at the mandala of the blueprint of a natal chart or a progress chart or the some variation thereof or solar return or that kind of thing. And all of a sudden you're seeing how these angles, not just the angles of the actual, not just the kind of more obvious angles, but also some of the more subtle angles, which is the midpoint between two planets. It's a little bit more, it's
esoteric.
It's esoteric, but there's a that it's also making these mandala shapes. So mandala upon mandala upon mandala, and then you're getting this kind of 5D, which is why the living blueprint is the archetype that's moving through you. So you could look at the living blueprint of the chart as this is all of those angles and points and ley lines. That's what's kind of being brought to life in the 3, 4, 5D, and the same thing with the home. The home is another version of that, or a relationship is another version of that, or relationship in the business, chart is another version of that.
Event charts are a hard thing to learn to do, but once you're good at astrology, it's what everybody asks you to do. It's the beginning of things, how to fix problems, relationships. We're all here to learn how to relate to each other.
It's powerful.
It's
Tashi told us to get married at 7:27 in the morning on October 30th. And I wanted obviously like a Amrit Vela or post Amrit Vela, so I was happy about that. Although I would have done it at another time, but Hari Jivan started right at 7:31. We almost made it. We were like, because
4 minutes is 1 degree.
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good because there's some last minute debacles, veils and things. But but these things and it was so powerful that you could feel that angle and the mandala that it made, and we had created a sacred geometric shape because in the Sikh tradition you go in a round. They're called the 4 rounds. So you go in a round. So you're creating a mandala in the wedding ceremony. And there's other wedding ceremonies that have certain kind of the movements that are associated with it. But so this is what we're talking about with geomancy. Yeah. And we did that meditation this morning, the body geomancy. That meditation was a body geomancy. Yes. And so we're looking, and if you in yogic science and in we'll call it the sun, the Eastern sun world, the world of this new era, part of your job is to look for patterns. So Tashi's describing some of this, and now she's describing the winter or solstice pattern.
So 2020 is this powerful Capricorn stellium, you guys. And I know some people are fear-based about it. I haven't been that way for such a long time, except when I am occasionally, I guess, but it's not how I live, okay? And so I'm like, well, there's nothing to be afraid of. It is a year to build. Capricorn is building, and it is about your self-authority and your mastery and your discipline. And if you are a leader, it's about your ability to guide others with so much integrity and authenticity that you really genuinely, with dignity, Capricorn has dignity, you help them climb that hill, all right? And so we're all doing that. Look at us. We're working on ourselves. We're helping each other. We're part of a community. We're going to be fine. Muggleville, who knows? There's a lot of problems in Muggleville. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So probably in June, when Jupiter and Pluto are conjunct, I think that's when there's a lot of stuff in the news about
Rama
June
Festival is happening.
Yeah, all our Rama Festival, great. Yeah, we'll be good. And I think
we only do Rama Festival over summer solstice when Pluto and Jupiter are conjunct.
Every 12 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a big time, and I think if you can really work with wanting to help us build Rama University, help us build the schools, help us build community, be a part of your community and really be sharing, caring, and inclusionary, then Uranus and Taurus, which is trining all this Capricorn stuff, is going to help you, all right? So strong community out there in Rama TV, strong community. It's fine, watch it on your sofa, but share it with somebody, right?
Well, the Rama TV is some of our strongest community.
I know.
Because they really understand how valuable community is.
Yeah, and if you can't be here in Venice, it's fine.
And we're building the app where you can connect with other people that are watching Rama TV or doing Rama TV. And so that'll be... Of course, Julian and Joanna didn't know that until right this moment. But no, I've talked about it before. We hear about what we're doing, what our business plan is on Rama TV.
Okay, and so I'm being serious. Venus is in Aquarius. I'm so serious.
Is Venus in Aquarius right now? Hence the dress.
It's almost there. I love this dress. This is
hilarious.
Your Venus.
It's very Uranus, this dress.
It's very Uranus, yeah. Yep. Yeah, well, thank God for that. Contrapuntal juxtaposition. Yeah. Seated. So Venus will be in Aquarius, and so...
On the solstice. So now we're talking about the solstice.
So for 3 months.
Will you tell them, before you tell them about the solstice chart, will you explain to them why we care about the solstice chart, besides the reasons we know why we care about the solstice chart?
It's because it's this super fabulous grid. It's the southern southern grid being activated, okay? The sun is at the furthest point south, hitting the Tropic of Capricorn. And Capricorn is this high noon position actually on Earth, okay? So it's activating high noon for all of us. So it's activating success. It's activating your ability to sit on stage and talk to people. Okay, that's Capricorn. Your ability to lead, to be serious in your life about how much time do you have and what should you use it for, and not waste your time. That's Capricorn and Saturn. And so this solstice, this southern solstice, is really the time of the year where you're doing the best you can to be the most successful. And if you live in Australia, it feels more like it because it's so sunny, but here we're doing it. And so then the equinoxes are on the celestial equator and the Earth's equator. Those are the equinoxes. And so this is why Kundalini Yoga and anybody intelligent who knows anything about anything spiritual will celebrate very profoundly these days. Yeah. And we'll do some light work and some meditation. And so in California, I can tell you what time it'll be. It will be 8:19 p.m. on the 21st, a Saturday, here, and 11:19 p.m. on the East Coast. So for whatever time zone you're in.
Yeah.
And it's really important.
Tashi will be here on stage. Tashi will be having right before.
Yeah. We're going to help celebrate this and bring it in. And so this is a grid. This is a skirt you're going to wear. So you can learn about it. You can probably find it on astro.com. I'm not sure because I don't use those kind of things, but I can always help you with it if you want to learn. Learn your natal grid and then start to learn these 4 grids, because I think, for me, I've been respecting these for such a long time, because as astrologers, we know that this is a blueprint. And I'm an evolutionary astrologer. You're being tested. This is a kind of school, and there's tests, and you pass them. You know, sometimes I see angels, and sometimes they'll say to me, I'll go, is this a test? And they'll go, yeah. I go, it's so dumb. Like, of course I'm going to pass this test. And they go, we have to test you anyway. I'm like, really? And I'm like, I laugh like a 5-year-old because I'm like, wow, what a weird world we live in. But, anyway, we get tested. And it's about our ability to learn not to be codependent, not to be too independent, but to understand our interdependence. Mm-hmm. That's true spirituality.
Yes, it is.
All
and
right?
that's straight Yogi Bhajan. He said, we in this age, this is what we have to learn, is that we're interdependent, and our choices affect everything and everyone.
And so Pluto will go into Aquarius in 2024. This is the good news. I'm going to call it the Age of Light.
Yeah.
Age of Aquarius, Age of Light. Mm-hmm. It goes into Aquarius. Pluto is guiding our soul. When it goes into a sign like Aquarius, it is going to pour light. So those of us who are feeling this through this backwards kind of wobble, that you're already feeling the 5th dimensional energy, and I know you all are because you look so radiant, just wait till 2024. And we are helping to give birth to ourselves as light workers and everybody else who wants to come along. And we have to be loving and kind and sharing and caring and inclusionary. That's how we get to the new age. I think, is that Yogi Bhajan too? Yeah, sharing, caring, inclusion?
No, I think it's you.
Okay.
I think it's Tashi Powers.
Yeah, it's evolutionary astrology, Jeffrey Wolfgang.
Okay.
I can't take his words. Okay. But I think I've seen Yogi Bhajan say...
He says things like it.
He does,
yeah, but not exactly like that. Yeah.
Right.
So this particular... So you take this winter solstice chart and you make a mandala, a comparison of the mandalas to your natal chart. And I'm just breaking it down for
I always need translators.
Laywoman. And then you start to see where those mandalas intersect and what you can do with the Vastu and the crystals, which is what Tashi's going to talk about, and Andrea tomorrow, is you can take those intersection points for the next quarter, and all of you have heard me talk about these quarterly kind of planning, with solstice, equinox planning. You can take those intersection or, points that Tashi's going to point out right now, and put something on to activate or to cure or to optimize that grid. And that is really practical magic, Vastu, Kala Chakra, Sri Yantra magic. That's basically using these in the sacred geometry as well as the tantric necklaces, using the sacred geometry in a very pragmatic, everyday way. And this is pretty magical stuff. Tashi, and she shares it with us in a way that's very generous, because these actually, nobody's talking. This may be like, oh yeah, it's Rama and we talk about this. Nobody's doing this. Curing these ingresses is what it's called. Is it called an ingress? The solstice?
Yeah, it's an ingress. Yeah. Ingress of the sun 4 times a year into a cardinal point is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it may be like, oh yeah, of course we do this, but this is, and we will, this will be of the future, how we deal with this.
Yeah.
And definitely is an ancient practice of one sort or another, but that's what Tashi is describing to you. So tell us.
So that's like a double dorje, and that's a symbol of self-empowerment from Tibetan Buddhism. All right. And then this is just turquoise, which is all about radiant health, radiant being. And this is celestite, so you can talk to your angels. And so this is a cure for somebody who wants to open their third eye and wants to be more self-empowered in the world.
And where would you put, like, with the current ingress, where would you put this particular
You
one?
would put,
in a general way.
In a general way, Neptune is in the west, okay? Neptune has been in the south for a couple of years, and it's moving to the west. So that doesn't mean anything to anybody but me and you. Mm-hmm. But the west is where we encounter others. The west is sunset, all right? In the chart, it's the 7th house, 6th house cusp in your natal chart, and Neptune is sitting there. So the fact that it's on an angle, these are these east, west, north, south points. When there's planets on the cardinal points, they're called east, west, north, and south, news, then they're resonating much more powerfully than if they're in what we call succedent or inner midpoint kind of places, okay? These angles, so when Neptune is there, you want to meditate more, you want to take advantage of it, you want to make sure that you're not watching too much, escapist television. I'm all for some of it, but not too much of it, all right? I know,
how much is that? Is that like what are we talking about? I mean, yeah, how much are we talking about here?
Yeah, I know. It's you know when you're escaping, you know. And hey, we all need some escape time, but Neptune, if you take too much of that, then what happens is you start to project your limiting beliefs onto existing reality.
Excellent. And those of you who have strong Neptune in your chart, you should pay attention to that. That was a very powerful teaching. If you have Pisces or Neptune, strong Pisces or strong Neptune, that is a very important teaching that Tashi just gave. Can you say it again?
Don't project your limiting beliefs on existing reality. That means you need to be an observer. You need to watch. You need to have a perspective.
And if you indulge in the escapist, Neptunian escapist stuff too much, that's where the kind of neurotic projection starts to happen.
I think if you're going to lunch and you're talking about Game of Thrones for more than even 2 minutes, you're in trouble. Okay? Yeah. A little bit, all right? We all need the fantasy, and we need the game of Neptune, the refractory game of the illusions of Neptune and the fun of it. I like film and TV. I do, but I don't watch that much of it because I just don't want my head full of it, It's full of the Sri Yantra and the Kali Chakra and meditation and things that are much more pleasurable for me. But, I'm happy to watch some good Neptune escapist things. Mm-hmm. However, I think with Neptune in the West, in Pisces, Neptune's in its own sign, so spirituality is on the rise, and that's why, okay? This year will be a lot easier than last year in terms of Neptune, because last year, Jupiter, which is trying to teach you how to talk to anything in natural law, how to go up to a crystal and know who's in there, what they're doing, and why. You can do it. If I show you how to talk to a crystal, I can show you how, okay? Findhorn, how to talk to plants, how to grow things. How this beautiful woman who was here, the Indian woman, Native Indian woman, the beauty of being connected. So when Pluto and Uranus were conjunct in 1965, that began the age of Aquarius, which meant we have to protect the earth. We have to live on this earth, Virgo, all right? And now we are moving into this place where we're going 5D with Neptune and Pisces, and I'm calling it head in the clouds, feet on the ground. And my very dear teacher, Jack Schwartz, taught me that. Head on the ground, feet in the clouds. And so it's a koan, you know, right?
So, okay, so we have this Neptune thing. What else should we tell them?
Let's see. About Neptune?
No, about the ingress.
The ingress. Okay, well, it has Virgo rising. And I've kind of fallen in love with Virgo right now because it's trining all the Capricorn and the Taurus. So it's giving us a grand trine, which is making our disciplined life and our angelic life very congruent with our muggle life and our spiritual life. Okay, it's creating a kind of easiness for us.
Yeah.
If we allow ourselves to daily practice your spiritual discipline, even if it's just vertical alignment, horizontal alignment, the cross, vertical, whatever you do, align yourself to the cosmos daily. If it takes you an hour and a half, do it. Used to take me 8 hours. Now it takes me like 10 minutes, you know? But when I needed 8 hours, I put it in. Put in the time till you know you really have that anchoring. That's Neptune in Pisces. And be really careful what you're projecting, especially about your spiritual path, okay? Just be here now and be full of love. Compassionate understanding is Neptune's highest form of, and love. I mean, look at how lucky you are. You're so in love. Well, but look at all this Neptune, right? Look at the kind of love it brings. So be love, because Neptune's in Pisces. Be as loving as you can be to everybody. Even if it's not your natural disposition, be that way. Practice it and just watch this grand trine of Earth, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. So that means, like Virgo, if it goes south, we all know the complaint department, right, of Virgo. If it goes south. I mean, I'm a Gemini. Blah, 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 if it goes south, right? So don't go to the complaint department. Get rid of your guilt and shame and your guilt and anger. That's the shadow of the Piscean age. It's Adam and Eve crap. It's not even all yours. Work on it for the collective. Be kind and compassionate to everybody. They're probably doing the best they can, even if it's the worst thing you could possibly think they're doing. For them, it might be their highest, best effort. So that's the compassionate ability of your Neptune to not impose your limiting beliefs about what somebody else is doing and just have compassionate understanding for the fact that they're trying probably to evolve.
Yeah.
Hungry ghosts.
Yeah.
God's realms, human realm.
Yeah.
We're all spinning through it.
So what about Moon and Mars? Is Moon and Capricorn on the Moon and Capricorn on winter solstice?
Sun in Capricorn. The moon's in Scorpio.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought there was a conjunction that day. The moon's in Scorpio. Okay.
Yeah, no, the Sun, Jupiter, the South Node, Ceres, Saturn, and Pluto are in Capricorn. That is heavy-duty stuff. That's why there's so much stuff going on in the world, in government. Pluto in Capricorn was called One World Government, all right? That's what it's called. And I think Pluto in Aquarius will be called the Age of Light. I hope we're going to win. You know, it looks like we're going to win. We're in fifth dimension. I mean, I remember people saying, "Oh, the worlds are going to feel like they're separating," and I'm like, "Oh, that sounds so weird," but it kind of feels like that to me now. You know, so when you go out in Muggleville, just use your radiant body to help people. Really, don't go out if you can't do it, because they need your love and your help.
Yeah.
You've taught me that.
Yeah.
I actually learned that from you.
Yeah.
She did. Yeah. And Mars in Scorpio. Okay, so this is why you ask. Mars is the ability to co-create with the universe. It's the first sign where you actually, if you've matured yourself enough in Cancer, the first water sign, and you've become emotionally self-reliant and you're not codependent, in Scorpio, you can actually talk to the universe. You can open your 10th gate. You can pull things in. You can ask angels to help you. You can ask your guides to help you. You can ask Yogi Bhajan to show up. They have to show up, okay? You're co-creating with them. We have a lineage that is eager to help us all. And they're here, you know? Like, I'm crazy visual. They're here. And that's Scorpio. So this moon, Mars in Scorpio, could be you pioneering. My best wish for you is that you pioneer emotionally and you say, I can co-create with the cosmos. Tashi says I can. I can. Okay?
Yeah.
And go co-create. Go talk to the cosmos. Vibrate the cosmos. Learn how to do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. You know? Really.
Which is a common theme this weekend, isn't it? This is I mean, I think that we get glazed over as in the New Age because there's a lot of like New Age cliche and broad strokes. So when I hear "vibrate the cosmos," I just want to glaze over because it's been kind of. But I just want to drill down on that it's exactly what Jose was talking about yesterday. It's that simple. You have to create the etheric, and I was talking to Jen Long about this. Jen stopped me. She's like, I've seen Rama University multiple times, and I said, me too. I see the etheric structure. I see the physical structure, and you know how that when you're creating something out of nothing, or just creating something, and say this is a relationship or a business or whatever you're all up to, and whatever you're really bringing into 2020, because this is a big immense grace this year coming into 2020. This year that we've been working together. It's that you have to create the vibrational etheric structure for the thing to start to form, and it really and then you have to the subconscious cleaning that we do around here is so that all the things in you that think you're unworthy, and the disbelief and the lethargy and the hiding and the evasiveness and the blame and the excuses and all that kind of stuff, all that can drop away so that you have this just incredible kind of vibrational understanding, and then you get better at it. So that's the other thing. Some of us have been very good at vibrating a certain part of our lives and having things happen, and then we have other parts of our lives that we're not as good, and it's the same skill sets. Exactly same skill sets. Creating money, creating partners, creating businesses. It's the exact same skill set. The only reason you're not able to do it is because of the subconscious belief patterns. Does that make sense? And that's also why we have to get into the room with each other, because some of us, relationship, no problem. Business, problem. Or, money, no problem. Some other aspect of health, vitality, love, relationship, problem. There's more blind spots or more subconscious patterning. So this is where you can use these mandalas, these ingress in your physical space and in the way that you're kind of maneuvering, in this particular, using Vastu or using the crystals or using other kind of sacred to create a certain amplification. So the pattern, we rewire the pattern here, you create the physical space in a different pattern, and you're just going to start to amplify quicker and quicker and quicker. And that's part of what I want you to get from.
It's sort of like driving your car. This intersection. Oh, it's the winter ingress of the sun into Capricorn.
Yeah.
And the reason you think the moon is there, because the moon in Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So they're in mutual reception. Smarty party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that moon, Pluto, Mars, means that your soul's desires, because Scorpio and Mars kind of go out into the world and make you look at, in evolutionary astrology, what you think is separate. If you don't see God in all, you don't see God at all. Whatever you think is separate, Mars is going to go out and investigate until you realize it's not, it's interdependent. And the dawning of interdependence, as it begins to wave upon wave come into you, it's a Neptune experience, and it's very blissful because you realize how connected you are, and you can't really feel separate anymore. But your individuation will want you to feel separate. And all human beings vacillate between introversion and extroversion, retrograde and direct. It's who we are, okay? We have polarities, and we go from one to the other, and we just have to get comfortable and just be extremely candid about where you're at with everybody. Oh, I'm introverted right now. Sorry, I can't do that extroverted thing. I'm very extroverted. What's happening? Because for me, I have Cancer rising. It's like daily. But I'm very in tune with all of that because I've known about it for so long, right? And now I'm trying to help everybody else learn about it, because you have to accept this part of your humanity. And I want to say one other thing about this The moon is in the second house for the U.S. collective. Use your talent, okay? Share your talent to earn money. Your self-respect is going to come, and your income, from using your talent. That's the second house. It's the frog in the well, that's the shadow of it. And the fifth house is Leo. So you need to use your intentional narcissism and your talent right now to really go out and build what you want for yourself. That's the moon, Pluto, mutual reception, Scorpio, Capricorn. Does that explain it well enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little touch into it, and you're going to be talking more tomorrow about the
yeah.
crystals, and how to use those in kind of the home and work environment, with Andrea, and
those
then
crystals.
winter solstice live streaming as well will be at 5:30 our Pacific time. Tashi will talk more about this because you got to spend a little time with these charts because they're just like anything. Just like the Tonkas, actually, we've been experiencing. It's like you don't see the Tonka, and then you don't see it, and it's been hanging here, and you don't see it, you don't see it, you don't see it, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it has, so you have to kind of, with these they're portals, and there's certain
That is vast.
angles there's certain angles that you have to enter the portal from in order to get certain frequencies. That's why the pyramids were built the way they are, or we were going into, on Orkney, we were going into these really powerful kind of burial structures, or ceremonial structures, and you have to enter a certain way, you have to leave a certain way, the whole thing. It's because they understood the geomancy of not just the structure itself, but the earth around it and how it relays with every other piece and part of the natural environment. And that's why I love this geomancer for Aquarian Women's Leadership Society. She's talking about the clitorises of the earth and stuff. I mean, this is if you start to understand your environments like this, and the same with Teresa coming in and starting to give us some, if you start to understand this, you're going to have powers that other people don't have.
And you get them because you want to use them for the good, because they really don't come out unless you want them for this age of light business.
Yeah.
Like I can teach bad people this stuff, and it's just interesting to me. They don't get it. You teach light people like you guys. I read your charts. I'm like, whoa.
And there is black magic on this planet.
There is. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a polarity
You can duck
planet.
that,
This is
though.
not love and light. There's a polarity planet. So these practices used in the kind of enlightened way, these technologies. I mean, these are hidden in plain sight. Some of the most powerful. I mean, you can Google all this, you can Google all this stuff, although Tashi's the only one who's talking about Vastu like this,
I
except,
don't think you can Google this stuff right now.
I mean,
It's in
you can
ancient
Google
Vedic.
you can Google a lot of things in terms of Kundalini. The Vastu, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's very, what'd you say? It's complex, so you don't,
Well,
you,
look at
exactly.
it. Look at the Kali Yantra. Look at that. The
You
Kali Yantra.
don't get it broken down into, okay, I can look at that and be like, oh, that's beautiful. But you don't understand how that is a map for you, both in your body, mind, and a way to also create physical space that will activate this kind of time space machine, and that's what the pyramids are. That's what all this whole kind of, and it's part of the reason why we're going to Egypt, because that's the next activation that has to happen in order for this community to go to the next level. I mean, that's why we go on these yatras. It's not these kind of random things. It's very specifically chosen to activate, certain things. So, okay. Thank you, Tashi. Always good to talk with you.
It's good to talk with you. Bless you all. Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you for spending the day with us. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Reality Riffing. These are conversations that I think are important with people who are doing great things in the world about subject matters that need to be discussed. If you enjoyed the content, the conversation, please feel free to share with your people, share with your friends and family, rate the podcast below, and also subscribe.